My non-binary daughter got pregnant by her gay friend and now they're blaming me for it. They are forcing me to be the mother of their child. My daughter came to me at 16 and said she was non-binary, but only sometimes some days she would feel more male than female, and some days she would feel like neither. She wanted me to ask her every day what day it was and then refer to her as that pronoun of the day. My daughter is now 18, pregnant, and seems to have lost her mind. This year has been a struggle. She wanted to take a break before going to community college, but couldn't keep a job. Retail situations were too phobic against her non-binary state. She's been through 4 or 5 jobs this year and quit all of them. She won't consider call centers because she doesn't like talking on the phone and is looking for a remote job without any luck. She's been unemployed since Thanksgiving. I was on the verge of laying down the law, telling her she either needs to go to school full-time or get a full-time job or move out with her friends. But now she's come to me, 5 months pregnant. She's very angry at me and says it's my fault because I didn't put her on puberty-blocking hormones when she came to me 2 years ago. She believes I am trying to feminize her by getting her birth control. She's been throwing her prescription away. I called her a little brat. I never call people names, especially my own child. But at that moment, I could just see red. The hormone thing is a non-issue in my opinion because this is the first time I ever heard of her wanting hormones. As for the birth control, it's also the first time I'm hearing anything about this. There are non-pill options that don't have estrogen if that was her want. All she had to do was ask, and I would have driven her to the doctor myself. She has her own medical card, though I don't know how she would have managed the copay without a job. I know for a fact her old high school gave out free condoms like candy. She had all the birth control she could ever want and used none of it. It gets worse. We're way past the date of abortion. Again, I would have helped her if this had been her wish. We live in an abortion-protected state and can afford it. She's known she was pregnant for about 2 months and has come to think of her baby as a sibling. She expects me to raise it like it was mine. This is my duty because she says it is my refusal to accept the non-binary state that led to her being pregnant. So she was going to get a brother or sister, and I was going to have another child. I said I would absolutely not raise her baby for her. She also refused to say who the father was. Now that I've cooled down, I'm hoping she has a secret boyfriend. She does have some friends who were born male, but now also don't identify that way. We didn't even get there. As I lost my mind when she said she thinks of her baby as a sibling and wants me to raise it like my own child. It's the middle of the night, and she has decided to pack some of her clothes and stay with one of her friends, one who I suspect is the baby daddy. Before she left, she told me that she already called the police and let them know that she was leaving of her own free will and was not in danger, like I was going to report an 18-year-old adult as a runaway or something. It was insulting. I told her she needed to work out details if she wanted to adopt with a father, and she was welcome back home when she had a plan in place. It was short because I heard her on the way out. I think she just meant to leave without saying anything. Update: she and the person who got her pregnant wanted to talk to me in a public place. Although I suspected I knew who her lover was, I was disappointed to find out because they had been a part of my daughter's friend group since high school and were the only ones I ever had a problem with and kicked out of my house. They are trans now, but 2 years ago the friend group was watching a movie in the living room, and every time I passed by he would lock eyes with me and make obnoxious loud sounds. I told him to knock it off and grew sterner when he did it again. Then when I was in the kitchen, he somehow snuck up behind me and was miming movements with his hand. I turned around and caught him at it. He was still fully clothed, but it was startling and freaky. I kicked him out. So now I'll just call them sperm donor because that's what they are. Sperm donor sat with my daughter and went on the attack. Sperm donor's points were, I was poisoning my daughter by making her take birth control. It will take years to fix my daughter after all I did. An abortion is a sin, and I am a monster for suggesting it. He also said I am further abusing her by not taking care of the baby while she fixes herself. So apparently, even though I'm an abusive monster, a bad mother, and so on, I'm even worse for not taking in their baby. At least no one suggested that I raise it like my daughter's sister anymore. That might have been my daughter's thought on it. Sperm donor did most of the talking while my daughter just sat and glared at me, nodding along. It was kind of a whirlwind. Sperm donor pounded the table a few times. There was a lot said, mostly by the sperm donor who really seemed to be steering the ship. I asked why the sperm donor couldn't take care of the baby, and the sperm donor said their parents were even worse than me. I guess my daughter and sperm donor taking care of the child they created is out of the question. I told them that I would not be raising their baby for them and that adoption was the best bet. They said that if I don't agree to raise it, they'll make sure I'll never see the baby, ever. I feel so many flavors of worry and anger, and then worry all over again. I've been around the block and it's never a great sign when the person you're with makes an enemy of your family. That's what sperm donor has done by painting me as an abuser and failed mother who also won't take in their baby. Sounds like sperm donor has cut themselves off from their own family too. So I'm worried my daughter is in a very controlling relationship with someone who convinced her to stop birth control because they think hormones are too feminizing somehow and that she needs to be fixed, but they still want me to raise their baby. I'm angry that my daughter can just hear this crap and nod along like, yeah, that makes total sense. She is not stupid. I think she's love blinded. I'm sad and worried for the baby. In a perfect world, I would want a normal grandmotherly relationship, or at least know that the child is safe and has been adopted into a loving family. I don't care what my daughter does with her gender or her body as long as she doesn't hurt herself. I want her to be in a happy relationship with someone who values her for who she is. Sperm donor kept using the word fix, which I see as another terrible sign. It's bad all around. My house is empty. It feels like my adult daughter has run off to join up with some weird cult thing that tells her that up is down, that not using birth control and then expecting others to take care of the child is all okay, and that she's a problem and needs to be fixed. I texted her and said I would be there for her, but sperm donor was still not welcome in the house. I think I'm blocked again. She's a legal adult. I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. In my low points, part of me thinks maybe I should agree to take the baby and then immediately make sure it's adopted into a loving home. But I get the feeling that sperm donor won't make that easy, and right now my daughter does what he says. Also, I'm not sure if that plan is even possible. It sounds like Hollywood. I have an appointment to speak with a counselor, but the soonest I could get is April. Some of my friends think I should take the baby in either to get away from the parents or it's my duty, or both. The only silver lining in this was that they both seem sober. I don't think there's substances involved. Am I reading this wrong? Am I the jerk? New update: 3 months later, I logged in and received a large amount of requests for an update. Unfortunately, I do not have one. I have not seen or heard from my daughter since the last meeting, and I believe she has changed her phone number. Our community isn't a large one, and I have heard through the grapevine she is staying in one of the homeless camps out in the woods, as this is a haven for substances and trafficking. This is a further concern from what I've heard. She is pregnant. Myself and a few friends and family members have driven through the camp area a few times on the lookout for her, but it's very large and there aren't exactly marked roads. Also recently, other people have been shot at while walking their dogs around there or riding ATVs, so every time we go, it's a risk. So that's it.